I feel like, thank you. I tell you, I feel like I ought to concede all the rest of my minutes back to Bob Costas because that was so absolutely wonderful. We haven't seen each other for years, but I always feel like, when we found out the story, Bobby and I didn't know the story about Bob being at the ballpark and about the ball, the home run ball, until we were attending. Tim McGraw had a brain tumor foundation dinner in memory of Tug, his father, in St. Louis. And Bobby and I attended that after Bobby had gone in and had his brain surgery. This was I believe, in 2007, after he had completed treatment at MD Anderson in Houston. And Bob was there that night, told the story. He was emceeing the event, told the story, and Bobby and I were in shock because he had never heard that, did not know that Bob had been close to the ball that was hit out into the outfield. And we just thought that's a magical story, has to go into Bobby's book that he wrote that year, the only book he ever wrote that came out, launched right before he passed away in 2008. And so we were so thrilled to have Bob become part of our book. He wrote a little portion of the book, and I was thrilled when I found out he was going to be here tonight. And we're so honored, my family, my son-in-law, two of my grandsons, a table full of friends, they're all here tonight to be part of this wonderful induction, and we're so thrilled to be inducted with the group that we are here with tonight. Friends, Gene Monahan, who we've loved from day one when Bobby said, I do have the best trainer in all of sports. It's been just such an incredible life for the families of the ball players, because we girls get together, we're at Old Timers. Really, we say thanks to Ron Guidry for keeping the spouses, the widows, who they don't have to invite back, but because Ronnie Guidry, we understand, had said, if the Steinbrenner family does not invite the wives back, I don't want to be coming back either. And it just speaks to the family that we know from the Yankees, and it may be true on other teams as well. There's just something about the closeness. I've always said family is everything to me, and I believe that on and off the field. And the family that we have lived with, that we continue to feel close to, the Munson family, to Jill, to the Guidrys, to so many who are here tonight and who we get to see every year at Old Timers Day. It's just a closeness that is hard to explain, and we say, we all got into it, most of us, at a very young age. I was thinking back before I came, in 1958, a long time ago, when my brother's Little League coaches decided that they were having a big baseball tournament that was coming up, and they needed some young 12-year-old who had a lot of power and clout and everything, so they sort of recruited Bobby Murcer from another team to come to help them win the tournament. And that was the very first time I ever met Bobby, and I was 10 years old and he was 12. And little did I know way back then that the hero of the tournament would end up being the hero in my life for 42 married years. And the life that it would provide for our family. You know, back when Billy Martin was the manager of the team, one of the greatest things about those years was that he allowed the players to bring their sons to the ballpark. And, you know, so my son Todd and, you know, all the other kids that were part of that team, they got to go to the ballpark and hang out. And Todd would come home some days and say, you know, it was the greatest thing. Billy got thrown out of the game today, but he came into the clubhouse and played ping pong with all the guys, you know. He said it was so awesome, and he'd come in sometimes and say, he brought chocolate chip cookies for all the kids, you know, and so it was such a family thing. And Todd talked about, oh my gosh, he talked about Louis Tiant, that he would roller skate all around under the boughs of Yankee Stadium in roller skates with a what was that, Todd? A speak and spell thing, because he was trying to learn English. And Todd said, you know, he said he had a cigar in his mouth and he's skating, and I just loved it that, you know, this was when dads got to take their kids to work with them, and our kids just grew up at the ballpark, and it was one of the greatest experiences. Diana and I had just such a wonderful, wonderful family relationship, and the tragedies, the love, everything that went on the field really carried on into the hearts of all the children and the wives, and for us to have maintained the friendships that we have, it's all because of baseball. And I don't think I would know anyone in this room that are our friends if it hadn't been for baseball. And so the closeness that we probably all feel to each other and our teammates and opponents who become our friends and all after the game's over, you know, I wish Bobby could be here tonight to see all the love that goes on, to know that his grandsons are hoping to follow in his footsteps. They both have played baseball from the time they were so young. And, you know, it's a great lifestyle, and I'm so honored to be here. We've never been to Troy. We went into Albany today, and it was absolutely a gorgeous city. And Ray was our favorite bat boy ever that grew up to be one of our very dearest, closest friends. We love him. He's like my brother from another mother. And, you know, it's nice to all text and email and call and stay in touch. So thank you for the honor. Thank you, Rennie, for including Bobby in this. And I'm sure I didn't give you any time extra, but thank you all very much. Thank you.